Good evening, everyone. I hope you all having a fantastic evening, and welcome to League Racing TV here, the Masters for round number 2 at the Romagna GP. We're here for Emilia. Round 2 is the first sprint race of the season, and unfortunately, it's quite low on numbers tonight. Hopefully, we'll get some more joining through qualifying, but as they currently stand, have just a few. We should now be turning over to the actual screen as the session start will begin in less than 30 seconds. I am Ivan Mike, going to be taking you through the action here tonight. Should be a very interesting race. A lot of points to grab here tonight for everyone, especially with the lobby numbers being as low as they are. Unfortunate, but as we go through one-shot qualifying, we'll go into the sprint qualifying, and as you can see, everyone is here for one shot. So who is going to come out on top? We're going to stay on board with maximum attack. He's going to take us out of the guys down to the checking of 2 and 3. Little kink that's meant to be turn number 1, but on this 4.9 kilometer circuit, you can see that has validated on his lap. But going on board with through turns 12, climbing up the hill now through going to be thing of 14, 15. It isn't quite good as he does take a decent amount of curve maximum attack as we take possession. As now for Felix 1, all he's got to do focus on his final 2 corners, get a good exit out of the final corner, and be on pole position here. He has a decent exit out of the final corner, and here comes Felix 1 to the line. And take pole position in one-shot qualifying by just over a 10. Sits on pole for the sprint race. A 2. So we'll run you through the order. I know the lobby is looking a bit bare bones right now, but hopefully they will make it up for us by giving us a lot of action out on track. But it is Felix 1 who will have pole position of beginner on this in second place. Sten Ross, last time the race winner in Jeddah, and he got in third. 1 Lucas in 4th, Sergeant Cake in 5th, Alexa 6th, Bomb in 7th, Atlas Coco in 8th, and we got Mad Jonas and Maximum Attack, who were both unable to get a lap time aboard. I just quickly want to check the audio. Everything is good, and oh my god, it looks a little bit overcast out here for the sprint race. Okay, audios all look okay on stream, hopefully. And here's Meet ID, and here's the gameplay. I know I had an issue yesterday for the Esports Masters League. But there was a few technical issues which led to me having to make a switch halfway through, get the audio to work. But we are getting ready to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway here for the sprint race. As oh my god, what a start from Sterling Ross. He's already up into second place and going to be challenging Felix 1 into turn number 2. Around the outside he'll go, and after the inside for turn 3. Keeps it all clean, all calm, all collected, and up into the race lead goes Stern Ross. Let's have a look and see what tyres everyone's on. Now, of course, he is on the Red Roll soft tyres. And Andreas have a little peek at Felix 1 here for P2. No, he's going to have to sit in behind. Of course, only 11 laps here in the sprint race. And once the sprint race is over, guys, we will have a quick look at the championship standings from what happened last time out in Jeddah, and we shall see how the standings are all looking. Mad Jonas with a decent start, up a couple of positions, up in B7, and he's of course going to make his way through. But of course, John Ross, the big gainer on soft tyres. Let's see who has jumped up the most here so far. And fine, doesn't change. There it is. And yep, Stern Ross up 2, Mad Jonas up 2. The big loser so far is Hilluxa down 2, and Atlas Copo, who is down 2. As Stern Ross now gets the fastest lap of the race. Andreas makes a little bit of a big someone. He's lost a second to Felix 1 lap, but next tight battle going on for P3 between Andreas, Sergeant Cake, and Lucas. Of course, Sergeant Cake last time out, fortunately DNF, so he's going to be looking to bounce back in a big way here in for round 2. And this sprint race, an opportunity for the top 7 to gain a couple of points. If I remember correctly, it is 10 points for the victory, 8 for second, 6 for third, and then it's 4, 3, 2, 1 from 4th down to 7th, 4 for 4th, 3 points for 5th, 2 points for 6th, and 1 point for 7th. And of course, there is the fastest lap point as well, so we'll have to keep right now. I don't final point paying position, and is definitely an eye on definitely one who should be keeping an eye on. This guy, it's one who has just set the fastest lap of the race on harder compound tyres, is chasing down Stern Ross. Of course, with the clouds being as they are around you, looking around, it does look very overcast. Are we going to see any rain? That's the question. Are we going to see a little bit of a inkling, you know, a little bit of a droplet here or there? I mean, we are on lap 3. It does look like the clouds some rain there to fall. The question is, will we see it here in sprint race? Time will tell. Felix one all over the back of Stern Ross on those compound tyres, and oh, he just gets a little bit of a snap, and that is going to allow Andreas now to get back within the DRS range. His maximum attack has overtaken Hilluxa, because Hilluxa has gone around and is spinning. Hilluxa down now in 10th place, but now with DRS being activated, let's see who's going to be close enough to be making moves here. I think only Mad Jonas will be the one making moves, and here he goes. Yep, he's going to draw alongside Tom, and he's just going to cruise straight on by. Mad Jonas now up into P6, so good going from the Martin. Now the battle up towards the top. That small mistake from Felix 1 has brought the entire pack now up to him. Remember, he did have a decent sizable gap of 1.2, 1.3 seconds, I believe the gap was, after 2 laps, and one mistake, and everyone is now back on him once again. And with everyone being on him, it's going to be very difficult now with DRS activated for Felix 1 kind of get guys out of the feed. Oh, as Stern Ross there makes a big mistake. Oh no, he doesn't. That is a flag. Hate to see it, dude. And that is not going well for all of us here. Probably. Unfortunately, guys, I am on double duty tonight. I have to make sure the stream stays good, but I also have to make sure the lobby. Well, double duty. That's why I'm on tonight. Guys, double duty. Stern Ross up ahead, still maintaining that 5-10 over Felix 1. And of course, it is a sprint race, so who will be coming out on top of this? It's going to be a very. I think Felix 1 should have the edge here. Oh no, Helixa has gone around. Yes, it is. Helixa again around, and it's going to be a long day for that. But keep going, mate. Right? And here's a sprint race. You may not get points on the sprint race, but so as long as you just get used to making sure you don't crash your car out, good practice for the actual race. Finish, guaranteed points. So you gotta look at it. So now Felix 1, is he close enough? Potentially go for a move on Spin Ross. And don't moving. Well, we got the other Mercedes of Sergeant Kate closing up to TNR Andreas there for P3. That is that margin definitely powering between those two, and one Lucas eventually will be looking behind him soon as Marion approaching. Tom unfortunately has dropped off slightly since getting overtaken by Jonas. He's a bit of an off and a bit of a no man's land. Same with maximum attack and Atlas Coco here. These guys is going to be a very long and boring into the sprint for them, and that's one mistaken battle. But Man's right now, it's all got the top 6, all within DRS of each other, all within. What was that? Maximum attack has gone. I mentioned about someone making a mistake. Maximum attack has gone, and that's a reset the track as well. That is not what you'd like to see. But another winner as oh my god! What is the AI doing with these DNFers? My god, everyone, they've done so well to avoid that car as Felix 1 now around the outside of Stern Ross, and Stern Ross has lost it, and he's gone. Just got onto the curbing just a little bit too much, and Stern Ross around and down into P7 he goes. So now Felix 1 has the lead, but he does have Andreas and Sergeant Cake all over the back of him, with one Lucas and Matt Jones just lurking there, just lurking, getting ready to do something. Meanwhile, I believe maximum attack session. Well, sack. Back up towards the and it's straight for the race. Who is going to come out on top here? Will it be Felix 1? Will it be Andre? Will it be Sergeant Cake, Lucas, or Mad Jonas? A 3-second time penalty for any one of these drivers will be absolutely, it will be disastrous. Take them from potentially winning this down to, well, down to fit. Have a second gap to Tom in start battling. Don't get it, so they could drop all the way down to 6th if they're not careful. Have 2 in there so far, Helixa and maximum attack. And 2, but they should have, you know, a couple of minutes now just to reset, recompose, and then get in. Enquiries. We'll be starting back row. Back, but who will be starting pole position? Next one doing a very good job so far, and everyone in a bit of a DRS train. No one really going for any currently. It's all bunching up, but it's not getting close enough for any overtakes to happen. This is where all the action is with drivers. There's not much reason for me to switch off any of these drivers. I'm going on board Sergeant Cake just to have a good view of all 5 of them, but for Tom, he's got, oh, Mad Jonas has absolutely lost it at the top of the hill, and we are talking turn 9, losing the car, and oh my god, yep, he's over there. Mad Jonas, it was all looking good, but around he goes. So now, once you finish, you guarantee the point. Tom gets a 3-second time penalty. That shouldn't be too much of an issue for him so far, but it definitely will prevent him from climbing further up. Hold on, takes up ahead. Oh, that Lucas has lost it. Both Ferraris have lost it from great positions as Andreas has got through, and he's up into the race lead ahead of Felix 1 now. And Sergeant Cake all over the back of his teammate. Is Sergeant Cake going to have a little peek on Felix 1 here for P2? Sergeant Cake is going to stick with being. Everything seems to happen when we're not on board with them. Nicholas. Andreas now into the lead. He does have Felix 1 over the back of him. Felix 1 will have DRS down in towards turn 2. I would expect Felix 1 to get back past Andreas, but and question. Oh, Andreas down into P3. Quickly looked away for 1 second. As I looked at my stream there, I saw the incident, well, the small mistake, but my god, Andreas has absolutely thrown this away, and he needs to get back ahead to Sergeant Cake to have a chance at second, and he's going to go around the outside into turn 2, and oh, yeah, he just about does it. Meanwhile, Atlas Copo and Lucas trading Atlas Copo bit of an off moment, but it looks like Felix 1 now, not under pressure. The mistake from Andreas has definitely allowed Felix 1 to get away with this one. We're going for a fantastic scrap for victory here in the sprint race, but we'll set up for a dicey scrap for second place on the front row. Be Sergeant Cake or Andreas. Andreas has no ERS left, and neither does Sergeant Cake, to be fair, so it's all about the exits out of these corners. Can Sergeant Cake get a good run out of the chicane? Oh, he's pretty much pushing Andreas, and yeah, a little bit onto the curve there, and I think that's done it. I think that has done it here, unless anyone makes a mistake now. Would be as it stands. So Felix 1 will take victory in the sprint race and will be on pole position for the feature race. Andreas will be alongside him on front row. Sergeant Cake in third. Tom will have fourth, and then of course we got Stern Ross and Lucas, the Ferrari pairing, rocking out the third row. Fifth and fifth, and Atlas Copo will pick up the final point of the sprint race. He will come home. How we are trying to quickly go through the calendar, which of course tonight we are at Emilia for the sprint race, so it is round number 2. Next week will be at the circuit Spanish Grand Prix. we got Austria, and then France for a bit of a big weekend. Then we got Stanford, Marina Bay, Singapore, Austin for the second sprint race of the season, round 9, Burns, round 10, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and yeah, in the desert for Bahrain, for the final of the season. Of course, so that's how it is looking. Felix won on pole position with Andre beside him, Sergeant Cake and Tom on the second row, Stern Ross and third row, Scopo and so back through at the scope back Alexa back row. Of course, let's have a look at the standings from last time out as well. So as you can see, it is Stern Ross who took a victory with 3 in second place after fastest lap as well. And Jonas in fourth, if Atlas Kobo in sixth, Tiana in seventh, and of course they were the only finishers last time out, so they're the only ones that contributed to the standings, and obviously it is Ferrari top right there. But we're about to get into this race, so we'll switch back over to the footage and get going the grid. 32 laps. Who's going to come out on top here as we go to those 5 red lights out, and we are underway here, and Andreas gets a very decent start and he's going to draw alongside, but oh my god, Felix won getting a poor start. He's losing positions left, right and centre as he drops down into P4. Oh no, Andreas and Tom making contact there, and Felix got caught up in that as well. I'm not sure if Felix got caught up in that, but Andreas and Lucas definitely got caught up in it. But Andreas goes around. Oh my god, that was maximum attack losing the car, and he has gone a spinning as well. Of course, 32 laps. It's not one of those races where you want to be you don't want to be on your own for 32 laps. I'm just saying that. So it is a tricky one for these guys. Hopefully Jason will come back in. He's got feedback of Hilaxa 4-5 on man who was on pole position, and he drops down and Hilaxa makes a mistake, and Felix one says thank you mate, and I'll just go no issues, no worries, no issues. Or at the head of him now. Not sure why, but I don't think that is correct. Oh, that's Tom around. Tom is around and he has gone a spinning. No, he didn't go spinning. Maximum attack when spinning, but Tom lost the car and he's dropped down but in the race lead, but struggle now. Going to be overtakes here on this lap. I don't think anyone's going to be close enough to make an overtake, but we do have Felix one trying to navigate his way back through and up into a podium position. So Felix one is definitely on a charge here. Tom on those soft tyres. He was out in the lead, but he made a mistake and actually dropped down to for Mad Jonas with a fantastic start up in the third. Sergeant Cake and Stern Rossley up in first and second. So Stern Ross, the championship leader who won last time out in Jeddah, looking to make it a back-to-back performance here tonight. Question is, can he do it? And no, that's Maximum Attack who's gone around again. And I don't know what is going on with Maximum Attack, and just going to stay on board because this does look a little bit suspect by here. I can't lie for Maximum Attack. Breaks his front wing off, trying to trigger it. I don't think he has triggered the full course safety. Oh no, he has. Yep. Maximum Attack has triggered the full course safety car. That is disgraceful. Maximum Attack, mate. We caught it on stream. You can't be triggering the safety car like that. There will definitely be a Stewart's inquiry on Maximum Attack after this race. I can assure you of that. Intentionally trying to bring out the safety car. That is for certain. Caught on stream. He does not have a front wing, so he definitely does need a pit. But he wants to hope that everyone else pits, otherwise he's going to be a lap down. And if he's a lap down, I have a feeling the Maximum Attack will just DNF. When Lucas did make the pit stop, he's on a fresh set of medium compound tyres, so he is making his pit stop early and hopefully looking for a bit of an undercut here on some of these guys if they decide to stay out. And oh my god, yeah, the rain is falling, guys, the rain is falling. The rain has cometh and Mad Jonas has stayed out. So Maximum Attack is on a set of hards and he is a lap down now for the race leader. And honestly, if you're going to intentionally bring up the safety car, I mean, it is going to be a bit of a karma when this happens to you. But everyone on a set of intermediates now, it might be just a little bit too early for the Inders, but with the safety car, you never know. As one Lucas has come into the pits and he will chuck on a set of Inders as well. I can assure you of that. It has started raining pretty early on here in Emilia. And what I'd assume would happen here, Mad Jonas would peel off into the pits at the end of this lap, and Maximum Attack will try yeah, Mad Jonas, I don't think, yeah, you see like Maximum Attack getting a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Overtaking Mad Jonas, like, it's just not the way to go, mate. It's just not the way. Mad Jonas must be, oh yep, the front wing has gone. Maximum Attack has hit and collided with the safety car. And Maximum Attack has been disqualified for ignoring yellow flags, and honestly it's probably the correct decision that he did get disqualified due to the fact that he did bring out intentionally the safety car. So Jonas makes his pit stop and now he is in P8. It was looking good for Jonas, but he made the gamble to stay out, and unfortunately it was not the correct call, and Jonas now set those inters, and the rain has come down thick and fast here in Emilia. Now we'll see who can master the wet conditions best. So Sergeant Cake will lead us in the safety car when he decides to come in. I believe it might be a late call to come into the pits. If it's going to trigger now, it'll trigger all the braking zone down here in towards turn 17. No, it is going to stay. Oh, that's a very late call there for the safety car. Very late call indeed. And now Sergeant Cake backs up the back as well as best as he possibly can. And we're underway once again. And Sergeant Cake gets underway, but it is Stern along the side. Oh, it's Sergeant Cake a little bit of side to side, wheel to wheel contact there, and that is going to drop Sergeant Cake down in towards P4. Tom now up into the race lead. Is all kicked off here on safety car restart, and here goes Felix one around the outside of Tom. Is he going to be able to do this around the outside? Surely not. And he's gone and done it. Same in the background with Andreas and Sergeant Cake. They are side by side. It's the climb up the hill. Who's going to come up on top here? And oh my god, yeah, Sergeant Cake a little bit too hot on the brakes, goes into Tom there, but he does hold on to P4. So Sergeant Cake, a big mistake, goes into XA Tom, who is currently in P3. Meanwhile, up at the top, Stern is ahead of Felix 1. In fact, let's have a look at the fastest lap, because the fastest lap right now should be the fastest lap for the rest of the race, unless it dries out. Right now it is Sergeant Cake on 18.3. So Sergeant Cake, as long as he sees the checkered flag, should have extra point in the bag, unless of course it dries up later in the race. Lap 8 of 32, and it is Stern Ross who is out in the lead, ahead of Felix 1, Tom in 3rd, Sergeant Cake in 4th, Andreas in 5th, Jonas in 6th, Lucas in 7th, Flexa in 8th, and then you've got Atlas Corporal in 9th. And then of course Maximum Attack, who, oh, as here goes Atlas Corporal around the outside now of Hiluxa. Is he going to be able to pull this off? No, he's not. Back up towards the top end, we do have Andreas, who is all over the back of Sergeant Cake and seems to be enjoying these conditions a bit better than the Mercedes ahead of him. Yes, he is pushing and prodding, trying to find a way through. Meanwhile, at the front, Felix 1 all over the rear wing of Stern Ross. Remember, these two are battling for the championship lead here tonight. Stern Ross took victory last time out, but Felix 1 is looking to take the championship lead here tonight. But I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move down in towards turn 2. What about Andreas on Sergeant Cake? No, as Hiluxa has retired. And I think that is in the pit lane as well, so Hiluxa leads the session, and not a good night for Hiluxa. Didn't last very long in the sprint race, and here in the feature race lasts around 9 laps. Felix 1 now. Oh, as he gets a big snap, big wiggle on the tyres there for Felix 1 as he gets onto that curb, and it's a little bit of wheel spin there, but Felix 1 definitely looks like the faster of the two drivers right now. Question will be, can Felix 1 get a good enough exit out of this final corner to have a go in towards turn 2? And he doesn't get a good exit here, but someone who did get a good exit is Andreas on Sergeant Cake, and he is using to try and get alongside the Mercedes they're both using, and Sergeant Cake is going to hold on for the time being. And I tell you what, if we keep running like this, we could potentially see some wet tyres come on these cars at some point. Top 7 all within DRS of each other if it was activated, but of course it is not under these conditions. And Andreas, he's getting the runs, but he just is so difficult, and he doesn't want to commit and get involved in an incident. Andreas doesn't, so he knows he has the pace. He just needs one good opportunity here to get past Sergeant Cake, and I think then he goes on the front foot and start attacking Tom, and he is all over the back of that Mercedes now. TNR Andreas looking to try and climb up the order. He is all over the back of Sergeant Cake for P4. Sergeant Cake is feeling the pressure. Andreas there, drop back slightly out of the chicane, but Felix 1 again all over the rear wing of Stern Ross, and all he needs is a good exit out the final corner, and this time he does get a decent exit. Is he going to be close enough this time to go for a move? Felix 1 for the race lead. He is using his ERS, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. No, he's not. He has to stick behind the Ferrari for another lap. Meanwhile, Andreas, I saw the delta times get close between Andreas and Cake there, but Andreas has to stick in P5 for the time being. It is marinating lovely between these two battles. Felix 1 definitely looks like if he gets past Stern Ross has the pace to pull away. Same with Andreas and Sergeant Cake as well. Is a matter of when these two are able to make overtakes. It's not a case of if, it's a case of when. Sergeant Cake looks like getting a bit of a gap now to Andreas in behind, so Andreas might have pushed a little bit too much, making a couple of mistakes now because he can't get through. But now Felix 1 over the back of Stern Ross, and Stern Ross just gets the traction out of the final corner every time, and he's able to pull away to such an extent that he's able to hold off the Mercedes driver down in towards turn 2. Meanwhile, Mad Jonas and one Lucas in a bit of a scrap for P6 here. Atlas Coppo, it's a long race for Atlas Coppo. He's down in 8th place, and unfortunately he's in a bit of a no man's land as it currently stands, and the true definition of a no man's land, to be honest, for Atlas Coppo here tonight. However, Felix 1, he has the pace, especially in this middle sector. This is an opportunity, and he's on his ERS. Just needs one chance to get through on this Ferrari, and he can then try to pull away, but currently as it stands he can't get the job done. Same with Andreas as well for P4. Ross and Felix 1 once again, another lap behind Sergeant Cake and Stern Ross. These two are the most likely to go for overtakes. It's based on their pace, but Majoris and One Luca is definitely a battle to keep an eye on as well. The battle for P6 as Majoris appears to be closing in now on these guys up ahead, and Felix and Stern Ross have managed to drop away. Managed to drop Tom slightly, but Tom able to come back in his middle sector. Shall see. Felix 1 all over the back of Stern Ross for the race lead. Lap 13 of 32. We only came into this lobby with 10 drivers and we have 8 remaining. Maximum attack disqualified for ignoring yellow flags. Hiluxa retired in the pits. And Felix won't get close enough. He just can't do it. He can't get close enough. The run that Stern Ross is getting out of that final corner is absolutely fantastic every single lap. He's able to hold off Felix 1. Well, Andreas is all over the back of Sergeant Cake, and at what point does Andreas get desperate and send a move on the Mercedes guy? At what point? That is the question indeed, and with Sergeant Cake, he is starting to lose touch slightly with Tom. But Felix 1 trying to find a way through, and oh my god, now this is an opportunity for Felix 1, but he just doesn't have the legs down into the chicane. A good exit here, and he could have a run into the penultimate corner, but he gets a little bit of a snap, so unable to do anything in towards the penultimate corner. All about the exit of the final corner. If he just gets a good exit here, he's on for a run here. And now he's tucked into the slipstream. He's trying everything now. ERS is burning for Felix 1. Is he going to go for the overtake this time round? Oh, he can't do it. Felix 1 has to stick in behind Stern Ross for another lap, and every single line he's going for, he's just losing the car. Every time a little bit of a snap here, a little bit of a snap there for Felix 1, and it compromises him and he loses a bit of time and needs to build himself back up to go for an overtake again. Of course, also on League Racing TV here tonight, we do have Masters League Formula 1, and oh my god, that's a big mistake there from Sergeant Cake. Sergeant Cake under pressure from Andreas now after that mistake, but they're still not close enough to make any overtakes here. But as I was saying, yeah, Formula 1 is also on tonight. F1 being called on by the legendary James Head, so make sure you guys pop on over to that stream and show him some love. Now Felix 1, can he get a good exit this time around? He's not getting a horrible exit, but not getting the best, and I think what Felix is doing now is trying to make sure Stern Ross uses his ERS. As Tom is holding off Sergeant Cake, who is also holding off Andreas. Andreas definitely looks like at any moment he could get through on Sergeant Cake, and it's the same with Felix 1 and Stern Ross as well. It looks like Felix could get the move at any point. Question is, when will it happen? Felix 1 just over 2 attempts away good exit here, and he could have a look into the chicane, but we've seen it before. A short straight, and unfortunately not enough for Felix 1 to get a good run on the Ferrari. But Felix 1 all over the back of Stern Ross, and now he's having a look into the penultimate corner. Is he going to have a look down the inside? Oh, he's made Stern Ross defend it. Oh, Stern Ross, and he has made a mistake, and now Felix on the inside, and is he going to be able to get this done? Felix 1 into the race lead, and that has been a long time coming, but can Stern Ross come back at the Mercedes shirt? Yes, he can. He's using ERS. He's going to look to the outside of turn 2. Stern Ross around the outside, and oh no, he just can't do it, but he's made Felix go deep, and Felix now loses the race lead once again to Stern Ross, and what a battle this has been for P1 and P2. Meanwhile, Sergeant Cake got very close to Tom, but unable to get an overtake done there. Felix finally able to get past Stern Ross momentarily, but Stern Ross had the answer immediately and was able to get back through and up into the race lead. So now Felix 1 has to reset and go again. He knows he's quicker in this middle sector. All he needs to do is make sure that he is ahead at the end of sector 1. As Felix 1 now on the back of the Ferrari once again, and is he going to go for it in the same spot? I don't think he is. Just going to wait for the time being. Meanwhile, Andreas has saved up so much ERS here, and it's unbelievable how much ERS Andreas actually has compared to the guys up ahead of him. But it's a case of for Andreas, and that's it. That's Felix 1 into the pits. He's gone for the undercut. He has gone for the undercut here on lap 18. Felix 1. And he's chucked on a set of the wets. The full wet compound tyres have come out here to play for Felix 1. And who is going to follow suit? And are these tyres on the money, or is it a bit too soon? We will find out momentarily with delta between Felix 1 and Lucas, and it is 24 seconds the gap, and doesn't look like it is closing in. Oh, hang on. Now it appears like these wets, I don't think it's a lap or two too early, but I could be wrong. Can Felix 1 get this undercut to work? I tell you what, it definitely looks like wet tyres now. This middle sector, he's gained a half a tenth, and Tom gets a big slap. Is anyone else going to peel off into the pits? No, everyone's sticking it out. Surely for Lucas and Jonas, they can see that these wet tyres are working better for Felix 1. And Sergeant Cake is trying to get past Tom and takes it to the gravel there, does Sergeant Cake, but these two side by side, wheel to wheel on board with Andreas, looking for a good view of this scrap, and a bit of contact, and that's going to allow Andreas to come through, and he's going to have a look around the outside of Sergeant Cake. Is he going to be able to pull this off? No, he gets shoved out onto the curbing, and Tom's going to try and come back at him now, but Tom unable to do so. Andreas, he manages to get past Tom, but unable to get past Sergeant Cake, so Sergeant Cake there, elbows out to the fullest in defence here of his P2. It is wet compound tyres right now for this track, and you can tell by the way Felix 1 is just absolutely flying on those blue roll wet tyres, and he's definitely got the undercut here on Stern Ross, and Stern Gonna stick it out. Same with Sergeant Cake, same with Andreas, same with Tom. Now I'm wondering if it's going to go back to Indes, which is why these guys are trying to stick it out. That's what I'm wondering, or whether we'll have a sustained period. Oh no, Tom makes a mistake on the exit curb and loses out to both Jonas and Lucas. So Tom goes from what was P2 just 3 short laps ago, drops all the way down now to P6, and oh yeah, he is struggling in these conditions. And you can tell that it is just the Indes not performing well on this track. It is definitely time for the blue wall full wet tyres, but will anyone come into the pits? That is the question. Stern Ross has a 1.8 second lead now over the grid, but if he does pit, Felix 1 will have a fantastic undercut on him. Felix 1 definitely making the right call to go onto those full wet tyres, but no one has followed suit yet, which of course is making me think that it will go back to Indes at some point. But everyone tiptoeing around out on track, they are struggling in these conditions, and Tom's in, and honestly it was kind of understandable for Tom. He was definitely struggling on those Indes, but he's chucked on a fresh set of intermediates. Has Felix 1 made a mistake? I'll tell you what, now we're going to see fresh Indes versus fresh-ish full wet compound tyres. You see Felix 1 now with a big undercut advantage on Tom. .7 seconds, 5.8. And now we're going to see if the Indes are better than the full wets. Ooh, Tom is closing in. Tom is closing in on Felix 1 in our first sector, so it looks like fresh Indes are quicker than the wets, but the wets are quicker than the worn Indes at this point in the race. Felix 1 has made a big mistake by chucking on the wet tyres, and I think once he makes his a pit stop for another set of Indes, I mean potentially he could just stick it out in the wets. The rain is still coming down quite furiously, actually. The rain is coming down, so it might just get to a point where the wets are just the only choice to make. But as it currently stands, looks like Tom on those fresh Indes has a bit more pace than Felix 1. Meanwhile, we got Lucas on the back of Jonas, and to be fair, Sergeant Cake has managed to close up somewhat the Stern Ross and has dropped Andreas slightly. So Andreas now struggling in these conditions. Jonas looking to try and close up on Tina Andreas for P3. We got Lucas in P5, who is within a second of Jonas. Sergeant Cake is closing in on the Ferrari, and you gotta wonder, is Sergeant Cake going to be going for a move on Stern Ross? I tell you what, Tom losing time now to Felix 1. We are in the wet tyre superiority right now, as those wets are working so much better than the intermediates for Felix and Tom, so definitely the Indes are the right call right now. But the question is, will it dry back up? Will we go back to Indes? Is that what these top 5 are gambling on? 19.4 seconds the gap between Felix and Lucas. Sergeant Cake now within a second of Stern Ross. Sergeant Cake is still just, he's closing in bit by bit, and I can see, oh, as he has a big snap there through the middle sector, through turn 9 and 10, a big snap. Sergeant Cake will have to go ahead and try and regain his composure and try to come back at Stone Ross at a later point, but as it currently stands, we're in a quiet period. Anything could happen because of the conditions, but we are in a quiet period of the race. No one's close enough to make a move. We've got Felix 1 on those full wet tyres, and he is absolutely flying. In fact, let's look at the gap between Felix and the leader, and oh my god. I think Felix will have a sizable gap, and question is it going back to Indes? That's the question, that's what we can't figure out. Is it going to go back to Indes? Has Felix 1 played an absolute blinder, or has he shot himself in the foot? That's the question we got asked. Tom is losing time to Felix 1 on those Indes, but the wets are quicker than the intermediates at this point in the race. But are we going to see intermediate conditions come back towards the end of the race? Felix 1 took a gamble, went for an undercut, went early on the wets, and it definitely was the right choice. It is the right tyre to be on, but he's not gaining quick enough. Goes up to these guys, and another thing is, obviously with the rain still coming down, it is definitely going to be more favourable for Felix 1 at this point, but is it going to go back to intermediates? Oh, Sergeant Cake there making a mistake in the chicane. Obviously he has dropped Andreas now, so Andreas not looking too pacey, but he does have 7% ERS, so definitely been saving quite a bit. And 15.3 seconds now the gap, 15.2 between Lucas and Felix 1, 15 seconds, 14.9, 14.8. It is definitely the wet tyre period right now. Of course, we're in a funny period of the race right now where everyone is just a bit spread out. Everyone is a bit spread out. No one is really close to each other for a battle, so everyone is just hoping the car ahead makes a small mistake. Felix 1 on those wet tyres, he is definitely closing in, but we're on lap 25 of 32. Are there enough laps for Felix to close in? And the question then turns to these Indes. If these guys are planning to stay out on these Indes until the end of the race, what kind of condition are they going to be in? Are they going to be close to puncher territory? That is the question. Let me know in the chat. Predictions now. Lap 25 of 32. We got Stern Ross in the lead by 1.2 seconds to Sergeant Cake. We got Felix 1 on the wet tyres, which are the tyres to be on. He's closing in, but is he closing in fast enough? Let me know in the chat. Can the intermediate tyres get to the end of this race? Can these guys hold off the charge of Felix 1? Why is my cat crying in the background? That's the question. Andreas is in. Andreas into the pit lane, and what are you crying at, cat? Jesus. Alright, so Felix 1 is going to swoop past Andreas, and Andreas going for a fresh set of intermediate tyres. So I tell you what, Tom now jumps up into P6 ahead of Andreas. So Tom currently, I think, can get herself ahead of Sergeant Cake and Mad Jonas, potentially Stern Ross as well. lap 26 of 32. You can definitely see the Inters are not the tyre to be on, and Andreas came into the pits. Does that mean that these Inters can't get to the end? Is that a safety pit stop there from Andreas? I would believe so. So we have to keep an eye on Stern, Sergeant Cake, Mad Jonas and one Lucas, as their tyres are definitely going to be screaming in agony right now. Felix 1, 9.5 seconds behind Lucas. But in terms of the leader, he is 19.4 seconds behind Stern Ross. If these guys, if their tyres last to the end, Felix can't close up to him. There's no chance. But they've been on these tyres for so long, how can they get to the end? Surely their tyres are going to be approaching 70% right now. They have got to be close to puncher territory. Sergeant Cake is closing in on Stern Ross, and he's now back within a second once again. Stern Ross does have 70% ERS, so that would explain that. Meanwhile, we do have a battle going on, and it's the battle for P6. Finally, guys, it's been, I think, a good 10 laps without a battle, and we are here, Andreas versus Tom for P6. Andreas not close enough, but he is on fresher intermediate tyres, so you would think for the corners he definitely has enough to close up. Felix 1, 7.2 seconds behind Lucas now. Check that gap with 17.6 seconds. Felix 1 is rapidly closing in, but he's not closing in quick enough, and the only thing that can save Felix 1 here is if these guys up ahead, if their tyres just explode. That's the only thing that can save Felix 1. Atlas couple is into the pits. Andreas on the back of Tom. Andreas definitely looks, on those fresh Inters, he definitely looks like he could be one to make a move here pretty soon, but how are these guys still going on their intermediates? They're on 24 lap old intermediates, and now we are in the final 4 laps of this race. Stern Ross leads the way by 1.2 seconds to Sergeant Cake. Mad Jonas in 3rd place quite comfortably at the moment, but in these conditions it can all change very quickly. Lucas in 4th place on 24 lap old intermediates. Ferraris with a 1st and 4th as it currently stands, but you've got Felix 1 on those wet tyres, which are the better tyres to be on. Felix 1 is on the correct tyre, and he's closing in. He's not closing in quick enough, but he has no issues of punchers, and these guys up ahead of him definitely are going to be, there's going to be some nervous sweating from these 4 guys up ahead on their intermediates, because they have done a large amount of laps, and we saw Andreas come into the pits not too long ago, and I'm starting to wonder if it was a precautionary pit stop to make sure he could get to the end, because those tyres were not going to get to the end. Lap 29 of 32. Just 3 more laps to go for Stern Ross, Sergeant Cake, Mad Jonas and one Lucas, and I think Lucas will be under pressure before the end of this race from Felix 1. As Tom and Andreas. They're getting close to each other, but Andreas, it's like what he was earlier with Sergeant Cake. He can get close, but he can't get the overtake done. And that's the issue for Andreas. And oh, Sergeant Cake got a puncher. He was losing time to Stern Ross, and simultaneously Mad Jonas was closing in on him. So I don't think he's got a puncher, but he's definitely losing time. I think his tyres are gone. His tyres are absolutely gone off a cliff. Lap 30 of 32. Stern Ross still leads ahead of Sergeant Cake. Mad Jonas closing in. Felix 1 picks up a 3-second time penalty and he's gone. Felix 1's out of the race. Oh my god, Felix 1 on those wet tyres, out of this race. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. With just 3 laps to go. Well, 2.5 laps left. Realistically, Felix 1 on those wet tyres, out of this race. Wow, wow, wow. And now it is a case of, will these tyres survive or will they puncture? That's the only question now. That is the only question remaining. We have 2 more laps of this race to go. Stern Ross, Sergeant Cake, Mad Jonas, Lucas. 25 and 26 laps on the intermediate tyres. Are they going to make it to the end? Or will they explode, allowing Tom and Andreas to come through and pick up 2 massive results right there for both Tom and Andreas if it does happen. But Mad Jonas looks like he has kept his tyres in somewhat decent nick because he is on a late charge here. He has been closing in on Sergeant Cake, and Sergeant Cake has just started to close in on Stern Ross as well. So as we go on to the final lap, there is 1.6 seconds between Stern Ross and Sergeant Cake, but 6 tenths back to Mad Jonas. So they are closing back up on each other, but it does look like it's going to be too little too late. But Mad Jonas definitely looks like his tyres are potentially in better nick than the 2 ahead of him. As Stern Ross, oh, his tyres are gone. So are Sergeant Cake's. Mad Jonas has an opportunity here to get himself on a higher step of the podium. But he does have to be wary if their tyres explode in front of him. He needs to watch out for wind damage. Right now it does look like Stern Ross may just have enough of a gap. As long as his tyres don't pop, he should be good. They are closing in on each other again. Stern Ross, he's so tentative on those tyres, and he's left an opportunity. He's left an opportunity for Sergeant Cake to potentially have a look into the final corner. Oh, a little bit of contact between the pair of them. Sergeant Cake, a good exit here, and he could be on for it. No, and it's going to end with Stern Ross taking victory ahead of Sergeant Cake in second place, and Mad Jonas rounds out the podium. 1 Lucas now to the line. He was in a bit of no man's land, but he is going to come through and collect P4. Good drive there from Lucas. Tom in P5, Andreas in P6, and these 2, they went on the inters, and it just, them making their pit stop cost them more positions. For Tom though, I think it was wise for him to jump on the inters. He just had no confidence on his tyres. And for Andreas, I just don't think he was going to get him to the end, which is why he jumped in on him. But Atlas Coco now, the final man on the final lap to cross the line. He has 2 minutes to get to the end, to get to the checkered flag, and we'll wait Atlas, don't we? We'll wait. He's been steady. He's been just consistently going around. He hasn't been caught up in anything. He's just kept plugging along, and he is going to come through, and he's going to pick up P7 and a healthy amount of points as well for Atlas Copal. And that is the end of round number 2, as Mad Jonas does pick up driver of the day. A very interesting race. It wasn't an absolute exciting race, but it was a very interesting, edge of your seat stuff. Everything was... There wasn't a lot of action, but there was a lot of just tense moments where people could go for overtakes, where someone's pace was just dropping off, and then opportunities arose, but those opportunities were never like fully accessible for these guys. And that man, Sternross, capitalised on the carnage early on, got himself into the lead, and was able to defend tremendously. So it is going to be Sternross who takes a victory today, ahead of Sergeant Cake in second place, who does have the fastest lap, so good going from him. Majonas in third, Lucas in fourth, Tom in fifth, Andreas in sixth, Atlas Copal in seventh, and that was the last of our finishers. Now, the non-finishers were, of course, Felix One, who crashed out at the end, Hilixa, who retired in the pits, and Maximum Attack, who got himself disqualified after intentionally bringing out the safety car. Of course, the sprint race results as well. Felix took victory in that, with Andreas in second, Sergeant Cake third, Tom in fourth, Stern fifth, sixth, and Atlas picks up the final point in the sprint race. So making sure I got everything in there, so all good for the standings to be updated. But of course, guys, next week we do go to Spain for round number 3. So with that in mind, it's time to bring an end to the stream. I've been Mike. Hopefully you have enjoyed the action, and hopefully next week we'll have a lot more drivers on the grid. We can only pray for a better attendance at Spain. But until next week, guys, I have been Mike.